We are back and live and beautiful, and we are about to get bloody on July 3rd. And I am here with one of the coolest in the fight game today, none other than not just fighter, but I mean, it's impressive the way she handles life. Sarah Shell, welcome to the program. Oh, cut out there for a minute.
Oh yeah. Cutting out. It cut out a little bit.
Okay, so I love it when the intro does that. It's like challenge accepted with the stream, but the queen of BKFC, none other than Sarah Shell. She's here today, guys, and we made this show happen, got through all the bumps, and we're locked and loaded today and talking about her fight coming up on July 3rd. It's the real July 4th fighting celebration, whatever you want to call it, celebration of fighting. But the 250th celebration for the UFC was last weekend, and plenty of fighting news this week about Islam and Ian Gary fighting. But the real event is coming up in Philly next month on July 3rd. And I mean, as a bare knuckle fighter, it's you know all about the same thing that MMA fighters go through, the mental warfare, but you're doing so much on the side of that. I mean, juggling 3 dogs is what you told me. You have kids, doing the doctor thing. How did you get into bare knuckle?
Yeah, you know what? I have a long history of mixed martial arts. And Muay Thai. Actually, I've had over 30 fights. I think 19 MMA fights mixed with amateur and professional, and then lots of Muay Thai fights. I popped out 3 kids, and I was looking to get back into fighting, and BKFC just happened to give me an offer to come in their promotion. And I've always been known as a striker. I've been always known as a striker in MMA, and I've always said like I should have been in boxing long ago, but divine timing. I came into BKFC in 2022. 4 years in now, 3 fights in, 3-0. And I'm undefeated in the strawweight division. I've knocked down all of my opponents. I've never lost a round. So I'm a dominant strawweight, and I'm excited to prove myself against the champ July 3.
Yeah, that it's so crazy how fresh you seem in every fight, because you had one in 2022 and then one in 24 and then one in 25, if I have that correct. Mm-hmm. And you're going in now, I mean, so this would be over a year later that you're fighting again, right?
Yeah, kind of with BKFC, it's been happening kind of like, once a year I get a fight. And I had a 1-year break. Just waiting for fights. So a lot of it is the waiting game. Sorry, it's kind of hot here. I'm sweating a little bit. A lot of the fight game is the waiting game, and as someone who, I was in martial arts for so long. And so, MMA is a waiting game as well too. So, it's one of those things that, I've always prepared my backup plan. So I was always in school and, working to become a doctor in the background as I was living out my dreams. I love to fight. There's something about fighting and competing that just lights a fire in my soul. And, it's always been like that ever since I started fighting. So even, in between kids, I've still always been, thinking about fighting and getting back into it. So, this has been a 16-year journey of just, trying to become the best that I can be. And fighting is there's nothing like fighting to challenge you mentally and physically.
Do you ever get people, like when you're doing the doctor thing, who recognize you from that, or who have they requested you that?
Yeah, I mean, all of my patients, are pretty long term. I've had a lot of my patients long term. I'm a primary care provider, so I'm frontline provider for diabetes, cholesterol, obesity, really anything that goes wrong. I'm the first doctor that you see. And so a lot of my patients, they've been with me for a long time. I know kind of everything about them. So they've learned over the years. But you know what? Even to this day, there's some patients who I've had for 6 years, and they're just learning now that I'm fighting. So it's certainly a surprise to them. I'm not someone who looks like a fighter, but when you get to know me, you can understand. I'm someone who I just want to live out my life. I want to be the best that I can be, and I love challenges. And in office all day long, I'm trying to push people to do the same thing. Whether that's with their health or their family or just bettering themselves. And I love to walk the talk. I don't want to tell people to do something and not be doing it myself. So I'm on the same journey as my patients.
And with the negotiation side, because I usually, when I have people like from the UFC on or for BKFC, I try to get that side of things and see what it's like. As far as when you get a contract, how much do you work with Dave to set that up, or is it just people behind the scenes who are doing that for him? And how long does it take to set up the fights?
Yeah, that's a good question. My husband does all the talking, so I just get told when I'm going to fight, and I just keep saying that I'm ready. But no, you know what? This title fight was a long time in the making. I didn't think that I was being taken seriously, so I went up and I bumped the champ, and I was like, "Hey, sign the contract, sign the contract." So we had a little bit of an altercation, and then BKFC started to take me seriously. I was ranked number 1 for a while, so I'm not sure why we weren't taking me seriously, but I made it known that I'm serious. I want that title fight. And that was in November or December, early December of last year. And so we've been talking about setting this fight up ever since then. And yeah, I mean, with the fight game, you get dates and you say yes, and then it doesn't work out. So it's hard, but I'm so used to it. I've been in this game for so long. I know not to get my heart set on something until a contract is signed. And certainly when I got this title fight contract, I did not make any negotiations. Whatever money they offered me, I already had it in my heart that I was just going to say yes. I know that I have to prove myself. That I'm fighting a 5-time, world champion. No one can beat her. I know I'm the underdog. And so I'm not, I had no plans to make any negotiations. Whatever they gave me, whatever date, I immediately said yes. To be honest, I didn't even read my contract. I just went zoop, 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 bloop, signed it. I'm probably the fastest signed contract in BKFC history.
That's yeah, it's quite the opposite from the face of BKFC, Mr. The notorious one, Conor McGregor, who is
Conor McGregor.
Have you gotten to meet him yet?
You know what? No, I haven't yet. But I wonder if he'll be. I know he's fighting. 1 or 2 weeks later. I think 1 week after the July 3. So I don't know if he would be there, but I'll meet him one day. He'll get to meet me one day.
I would love to, just strictly based off the fact that I'm 98% Irish. So that's
okay. So it's on your bucket list.
That's a crazy one coming up because, God, I remember him and Max back in 2013, the first time when they fought, and I would love to see him in BKFC. I mean, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, I've been a fan of Conor for so long, and I've always loved the UFC personalities like Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, like anyone with a personality. I really enjoy that, and I'm someone who I don't think I have like a huge personality, but I'm really authentic. I'm really just myself, and sometimes it rubs people the wrong way, but I think that when people are open and honest about who they are, it just it makes them more interesting. So I really love Conor McGregor and his confidence, just be who he is, unapologetically himself.
You gotta love it when they have that personality to match the car crash that you're getting into when you see him in there, because that's exactly what he is like. And I mean, it was cool to see at the same time, Mike Perry, to see him get the love that he's getting. And I mean, that I love the Diaz brothers, but I think at this point, just Nate had no business in there with him and MMA. But I mean, at the same time, I look at Conor and I'm like, that's going to be a tough one if you roll out of the cage with Max and then you go into BKFC. he says that he already has his last UFC fight booked, but I
Mm,
mean, you gotta really love the fight game to be doing what he's doing. And I mean, as
yeah.
far as where you are, I look at you as like you are you are approaching that territory for BKFC and not just for the female fighters. And it's it's just so interesting to see people on their journey. And I love that I'm a part of it talking to you. And as far as how long you've been doing it for, it's at the end of the day, I think everybody has a different goal in mind and goals can change. But do you have a year that you set in mind or a goal that you wanted to attain and then you said, I'm out?
No, I mean, I'm unattached to the result, and in any fight that I do, I'm unattached to the result. I'm in love with the journey. I'm just taking every challenge as it comes, and I want to be the best that I can be, and I want to be up against the best. I love competition, right? Like there's nothing that fires up your training more than a name signed on a contract. I'm a beast in everyday life anyways, but once I know I'm going to war, like there's I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. Like I love the discipline. I love everything about it. And I've been in it for so long. So it's just you can tell like it's just a part of me. And I certainly don't do it out of ego or to prove anything to anyone. It's really just I want to be the best that I can be in life, and I want to be able to fight for other things. If there's a difficulty in life or a difficulty for my patient or just something that comes up in life, I want to be able to adapt, and I want to be able to be there for my kids or my family, or I want to be able to help someone, just walking down the street if I can. And so that's just what I feel like I'm training for. And Britain is just the test to see how far I've come.
And what you do as someone who is in the health game too, it's very appreciated because I have a sister who's been a nurse for God way past 10 years now, and it's not easy. I mean, you have to have mental fortitude to do that as well. I mean, when you get into these fights, is it something where you just you have your routine down for training, or is it you just feel like you start from scratch every time you're preparing for a fight because every opponent's different?
Yeah, you know what? And I have a strange way of looking at fighting, and I often explain it to patients in a way that life is difficult. Life breaks you down, and I've certainly been in places in life where I was just stripped to my core, and like it's just you feel so empty and so hurt. And fighting is one of those things where I've signed the contract. Nobody's going to lie to me. Nobody's going to betray me. It's all going to be fair, and I know the punches are coming. So in my mind, it's something that I feel a privilege that I get to train for this, and I know the punches are coming. Everything's going to be fair, that kind of training helps me prepare for the unexpected in life. The challenges never stop coming in life, and it's not easy for anyone. And fighting for me just helps me be the best person that I can be in life. And I just say like life is harder. Fighting is it's fun for me. It's fun. I love the process of fighting, but it's not as hard as life.
Yeah, and that's exactly the mentality I think that will make you prevail on July 3rd, because I don't see people who have that kind of bulletproof mentality that you fought yet. And I mean, to come away with a title here is going to be just, I wish I was there to watch it live. But after dismantling Britain, coming up in this fight, I hate to use that cliche question, but I will this time. What's next?
You know what? I want to be a very active fighter with BKFC. I want to win that title, and then I'm hoping BKFC comes to Phoenix so I can, be the hometown girl. I want to defend my title in Phoenix and start bringing girls to my hometown, and I want to continue to win that. You know what? It's more than just a title. I'm going to be the first physician world champion. There's never been a physician who's fought for a world title. And I'm going to be that first one. And what's more is there is a chronic disease epidemic, and I'm a primary care physician. That's my expertise. I treat chronic disease I prevent, manage, treat it. And there's a lot that is not being spoken about. And so I want to win a world title. I keep repeating this, but I keep saying, like, I'm going to win a world title so that I have a platform to talk about chronic disease. There's things that we are not talking about, and I think it's very much silenced by the pharmaceutical, industry. But there's a lot of things that we don't talk about that are just so easy and accessible for people, that I think would be the first steps for helping chronic disease. And who doesn't want to listen to the physician world champion? That's my goal. I want to help the world. I've been in survival mode. I've done the survival mode fighting for years. Then I went to med school, healed myself, started a family, and I intentionally came back to fighting. So like I'm fighting for a much deeper purpose. And my love for fighting and my love to help people and my education as a physician is all coming together. And that's what I see July 3.
That was the extent of my sister and I's conversation at Thanksgiving dinner, was about pharmaceutical companies, and I'll gladly do it again this year, the holidays. But for you fighting in Arizona, I mean, that'd be so cool to see the hometown event, because that kind of stuff, I mean, that energy we were talking about Connor, I mean, he had that happen when he fought in Boston. You could see how many Irish people were there. It's that kind of moment is just.
I'm telling you, if BKFC came to Phoenix, I would light it up. And you know what? My husband is also signed with BKFC. They haven't got him a fight yet, but he's 9-1 as a pro MMA. 23-5 as an amateur MMA. Like, he's got lots of MMA fights, and he's looking to transition. Already signed with them, but he's a police officer. So like if they come to Phoenix, like I'm going to have all my patients turn that up, and all the police, like it's going to be wild if they come to Phoenix. And I'll fight on the same card as my husband. But like I'm looking to win the title July 3. And I want to bring that back home to Phoenix, Arizona. We got lots of good fighters out in Phoenix, lots of good boxers. That's what I see for 2026. I'm gonna beat Britain Hart July 3. And then I'd like to beat Taylor Starling. I got her on my hit list next. So I want to bring her home, beat her up in my hometown. That's my 2026 plans. Win the title, defend the title, go on the BKFC cruise. I think that's January 2027. But that's my plans for the next year. Fight, party.
Oh my God. It's been in Florida a lot, and I've not gotten to see a BKFC event. I was very close to going to the one.
Dang, you gotta go.
I know it's
the Florida ones sell out. Florida is hot for BKFC.
I couldn't believe. Yeah, my buddy was texting me about the one in Daytona, and I was seeing videos of, because that was the one I think where they had that band I Prevail was playing live at it, and I was getting the updates for the fights, and I couldn't go because I had something happening with my dad at the time, and I know that he would have been like, I don't stop on my behalf, but I was like, I don't know if I'm in a mood tonight, but I regret not going because it was so close, an hour away. But they always do them also in Hollywood, Florida, and that's right outside of Miami. So I know they're close, and it's the UFC is the same, where I feel like they're always in Miami, but somehow I miss the ones that are close to me. Like in Jacksonville, I'm 15 minutes away from there, and they hosted the first event after COVID, all the lockdowns that crap did. They did one in Jacksonville in 2021, and I moved here not long after that. So I gotta get to it, and
you gotta put on your bucket.
When you go,
it's not the same as watching it on like your app or on TV. Like once you go live, it's just it's so much different.
It really is. I mean, I've gotten to go to a lot of the local events, that kind of stuff. I mean, local MMA gets testy for sure, but BKFC is one of those things where it's just, I feel like that should just as easily be a White House event, because they've been doing bare knuckle for so many years. I was talking to another BKFC fighter named Dan Pettit about how BKFC fighters have, this is not something that's new, that people have been doing fisticuffs for hundreds of years. And that's what I love about it. It's so primal. And I feel like that could be something that pushing for that to headline the White House coming up,
Yeah,
which
that's what I'm saying. Like July 3 should have been the White House card.
yes, it was just
July 3 BKFC, like this is the White House card. It's a good card, July 3.
oh, that was I did a stream for that card last Sunday and I was on fumes by the end of but it was just as somebody who's watched the UFC since what like '03, it was it just blew my mind to see and all the fanfare and everything. And especially as somebody who grew up in Virginia, I was right outside of DC, 2 hours away. Just like the backdrop there was like watching it happen in my backyard pretty much.
That's cool.
It's wild. And this is, I mean, you're catching BKFC really in its infancy. And that's where a lot of, I think, the interest is coming from when people are watching it these days. I mean, where do you see BKFC as far as a company? I mean, if you were running the show, would you do anything differently as far as, you know, like booking fights and all of that? I guess that's kind of that's a lot of different topics.
I think BKFC is such a fast growing company. There's so many moving parts. You know, certainly, you know, as a fighter, there's been some hiccups towards me, but I hold no fault to them. I know how hard it is and, you know, what moving parts. And as a fighter, I just stay ready. Like I said, like until a contract's signed, you know, it's you know, I'm grateful to just have them reaching out to me and to try to make it work. I know there's a lot of stress going on behind the scenes. I own a business, I run a clinic. And it's just, it's tough, like owning a business, running a business. It's just, it's a lot. And so yeah, I appreciate everything that BKFC does. And I think they're just going to grow exponentially. They're growing, you know, they're international, you know, and trying to hit up, you know, so many more states and countries as well too. So it's just, growing at such a fast pace.
Is there a country that you would like to headline like off the top of your head?
Not really. You know, I told BKFC like to fight Britain, like I'll travel anywhere, any state, any country, that doesn't matter. In fact, I love to travel. You know, I would love to come to Phoenix because it would be so big, but I am someone who, you know, I've had so many fights. I've traveled all over, you know, Canada and the States. I have no problem going into someone's hometown and, you know, laying it down.
Yeah, it was really cool to see when they went to Sturgis. I had a buddy who went and actually got arrested that weekend because they were doing like the biker show thing, and that was wild. That was around the time. That's when I did that interview with Dan Pettit right before that, and he fought on that card, and it was cool to see it, you know, the mountains there. But that's what's just so fun about it is like, you know, even if you're not into fighting, I mean, it's just the electricity that you feel when you're out there.
The energy, the environment, just around the people.
Oh, God, yeah. And is this going to be your first time going to Philly?
Yep. First time in Philly.
Wow. Yeah, I think you'll have a good time. I haven't been there in a long time, but do you plan to do all the you know, all those kinds of things?
I mean, we're gonna stay a day later. So maybe like hit up the Rocky Stairs or, you know, something, and my kids are gonna be there. So yeah, I mean, I tried to get childcare for my kids. I tried not to bring them, but you know, I homeschool my kids, so it's, you know, I'm the responsible one for them. I got a lot of things going on, but yeah, you know, I'm excited for Philly. You know, Philly is I've heard very electric. You know, all the fans, they're big on sports. So yeah, I'm just excited to feed off the energy and to perform. You know, I've been training so hard. And you know, I love competition. You know, it's like you can train all day long, but you just don't know how good you are until, you know, you fight that person who you know, is exactly your size and, you know, up against you. So it's just I crave this. I live for this. Like I'm living like a, a child's dream right now. I'm just like a child in an adult's body. I'm living the dream. So I can't wait. I can't wait to go fight and just show, everything that I've worked so hard for.
And if you, let's say that you go on and just you continue this streak, you're absolutely starching people, and they offer you, they say, let's go ahead and set you up here for good for life. Let's put you on if they want to do like a Netflix MMA card or something like that, where they make you transition, well, not make you, but they say, you'd have to transition over. Is that something where in a heartbeat you'd want to do something like that, even if just for the challenge, not the money? You'd go do something else, boxing,
I wouldn't say that. No, I'm loyal to BKFC. And that's where I see myself making my legacy. If there's a champion in another promotion, then with BKFC's permission, of course I would cross over and do that. But I'm very set on my intentions to be impactful for American healthcare. And so I'm not really thinking money. I think money will come, but I'm not thinking about big contracts and things like that. I'm really just going with the flow. And my intentions are to take the path that's going to help people the most. And I think BKFC is going to do that for me. I think BKFC is one of the best organizations. I'm very lucky to be where I am. I think a lot of people would love to be where I am. I want to make those people proud that I deserve this position.
And who were the ones that you watched growing up that influenced you when it came to fighting in general? Did you have people where it was like, even if I could get a tenth of what they've accomplished, or was it just always like, it's because you're somebody who definitely has your own goals, but were there people you watched like, I can get that?
Yeah, you know what? So I was really just thrown into fighting. I just I worked at a nutrition store. Someone came in and said that a female pulled out and they needed a fighter, and he was just upset. And so I just came across that conversation, randomly said, I'm athletic, I want to fight. So I was fighting 12 days later. So I really had no experiencing for my fight. But before that, I had a lot of guy friends who would go watch UFC fights with, right? So like they're always watching UFC fights. So I'm around all these guys, and guys, when they watch UFC fights, like, oh, I can, I do this, do that. So I'm around men, and I'm thinking in my head kind of the same thing. So even before I was into fighting, I had the confidence that I could at least defend myself. And also in your mind, you're always thinking like, what's the worst that can happen? And I'm thinking I'm just a 115-pound girl. So really from the start, I mean, just with my buddies, built natural confidence to just go try. And then once I got in there, that was just game over. Like, this is just my love. I just fell in love with it.
And is that how you and your husband met? Was it through like seeing each other at the gym?
Good question. So I had my first fight after 12 days, never had any training. I fought for that full year, and I had about 6 MMA fights, 2 Muay Thai fights, and I didn't have any training. Like I just worked out at the gym and trained with my buddies who watched UFC. Right. So like we didn't train. I just kept accepting all these fights. And then, at that end of the year, I was like, hey, like this is something I really like. And I was in Canada fighting really big women because, everything's bigger in the States. So there's not too many women in Canada that were fighting. So I was fighting really big women. So I found out it was smaller women in the States. So I moved to the States, got my student visa. And my very first fight that I fought in the States, I met my husband on the same fight card. We fought on the same fight card. And then yeah, that was it from there.
Wow. And so with his fight coming up, there's not been any details released yet, but is it something where you already know?
He doesn't have a fight coming up, but he signed a contract. So he's in I think a 4-fight contract. So basically they've just expressed interest because he's in contract. So he's just waiting for them to give an opponent and a date. And, hopefully fingers crossed, because it would be a big, huge show if they put both of us on it. It would be crazy in Phoenix.
God, yeah, because I would love to see a stadium show there, like where the Cardinals play. I mean, they posted Super Bowls there. It's tailor made for it. That's the thing that just I feel like BKFC is just when I see a stadium show for them, that's where I'm gonna be like, okay, this is where I know they've truly made it because I don't know if they've done one before if I or maybe not with the
I mean,
stadium show.
the Xfinity Arena is still like pretty. I think it fits like 20,000 people, 22 or 20,000 people or something. The
Yeah.
one that we're going to July 3, and I think it's sold out for Knucklemania. So it's a huge stadium that they've sold out multiple times before. But I mean, yeah, I think BKFC is just gonna be selling out huge stadiums, in very very soon.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, God, I can't wait till it comes to. I know that if there's one that happens in Arizona, I'm definitely going to go because that's something where
Yes.
I love to carry the walkout for you. I'd be jumping fools if they were trying to mess with your head, walking to walking to that ring. I got a buddy who's out there who does a show called the MMA Holes, and he's I I can't remember where I want to say Tucson is where he lives, but he's saying
Okay.
he's like perfect for the perfect state for that kind of thing. And Florida, I mean, is another one where you guys are huge. I think it's something that's going to be on the UFC's level, and it's going to become. I mean, even bigger. I mean, that's what I like about BKFC is I don't think that there's a lot of room for it to be, to get compromised because I don't watch the UFC anymore, and I think it's very, very different from what I was seeing like in 2005 and 2015. I don't see a lot of room for that in BKFC.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And I think the BKFC fighters, I think, have really good personalities as well too. It's just everyone's got a different personality, and which you do, to be able to bare knuckle brawl. Like there's, a lot of like the MMA fighters are, not wanting to do it. It's not everyone is jumping to do bare knuckle boxing. It's a little bit out there, but it's fun, and I think a lot more people are going to catch on, and yeah, it's a great combat sports.
I love it, and I love how you were in Canada, taking those challenges, and then just to see where you are now, and you got your mind in the perfect spot. And I mean, the feeling you're going to have when you get that belt, it's just, I don't see you as a person who's going to go out there for at least, for first impressions, you're going to be buying the gold watches and wearing the sunglasses indoors. I think you have a good, like the satin sheets.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna buy anything fancy. I'm a very low maintenance, simple person. All I need is a gym pass. I'm very very low maintenance. And yeah, if I had things, I wish I could help people. That's all I want to do. I just want to help people, and motivate people. Yeah, and hopefully I'm able to be a good influence for people by just being myself.
It's the perfect message. I mean, how could you not be behind that? And I can't wait. I'm going to have that whole fight card on because I already know I have that day off. So I'm thinking usually when I have buddies who are fighting, I try and do fight cards for it. And like I did one for Sturgis for when Dan was fighting because I was like, I got to be there, rain or shine. If it's good or bad night for a friend, I'm going to do it. And same thing here. I think that's got to happen because if I did one especially for the White House card, I'll do one the actual July 4th.
Yeah, weekend. You got it. I agree. This is the BKFC fight. This is the big one. Really good fights on the card too.
Oh yeah, I was looking at the card right before I got on here. I was like, this is actually like it was the first time I got to look and see what the other fights were for it. I'm like, damn, I was sleeping on this card, and it's
gonna be fireworks.
It's gonna be exactly, and yeah. I can't wait. You gotta definitely. I would get your fight week vlog going. If you ever need somebody to be filming your stuff in different cities,
Oh, I appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind. You know,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
really
because
really bad at social media, but you know, I understand that if I want to have an impact in the world, like I got to be doing it. So I'm trying my best to post, but I'm such a focused person. So like I'm focused, and it's hard to like bring up my phone and you know start taking pictures and stuff. It's just something I don't think about.
I talked a little bit with a guy who used to play in the NFL and then transitioned to doing. He was in the UFC, or he is still in the UFC, named Austin Lane, and it was the same thing he was talking about, where he's like, you know, he lives down where I do in Florida near Jacksonville, and he's like, I mean, if you saw me on the street, you know, he's like 6'8", and he's like, yeah, you notice me, but I'm not one of those people that's like, if people recognize me, I'm going to pull my phone out and they're going to be filming with me. I'm just trying to go about my business. And that's how winners are made. They have their minds so in tune with everything. They're ready to go to war, and that's it. I think
Yep.
that's the perfect sort of buzzsaw mentality that you have going in here. And I'm just glad that we could do this and get some of your time before the fight and go get the rounds in this afternoon if that's what you're doing. If not, get the
Yeah, I did all my track. I did all my track runs this morning, so my workouts are. I'll probably fit another workout in, but my workouts that I have to do are done. But I always, you know, even when my coach says rest, I still get a little something in.
Oh God, yeah. I saw you running the stairs on your story. I was like,
Yeah,
if I tried
that
to
was this
do that
morning.
in this,
And
yeah,
In Arizona, we got to wake up really early, so we do track runs really early in the morning before the sun comes up.
that's it. Yeah, I love to do trails because I'm a mountain
Mm,
man from Virginia, so I have to do the floor swamp
dang,
trails
you probably got nice trails out
around here.
there. Mm,
Oh yeah, God, that's the one thing I miss about living in Virginia is the you know, getting lost in the mountains was so easy, and
mm.
I knew where I was going at the same time. So like my friends would get lost if they walked into my backyard, and I'm like, well, this is just a Tuesday afternoon for me, but
Yeah.
that's maybe that was the true motivation to grow my Jeremiah Johnson beard I have right now. But I love the energy, and you can feel it. It is palpable even on my end of things here. And I appreciate you coming on today and sharing all this with us, because it's next time I do one of these with you, it's going to be with world champion Sarah Shell, but also physician, Dr. Shell, I believe, is what is more important. I would say more important. And I love that you want to make an impact in people's lives, especially with kids. And like I said a couple of times, just happy to share the journey with you. And you're damn right, I'll be streaming for Sarah Dam Shell on July 3. Tune in, everybody, and thank you for watching today.
Heck yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time. You know, media people don't get enough appreciation, but I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. And hey, just you got the mentality down, like we were saying. Just you keep making the moves you've been making, and the you're going past the sky. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I feel your energy, and I'm gonna do it. July 3. Don't miss it. It's gonna be fireworks. It's gonna be a good night.
Oh my God, folks, I can't wait. It's gonna be we're ringing necks, and then she's ringing the Liberty Bell, and she's out. And get to Arizona when it happens, my friends.
Yes,
Thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you.
Oh, for sure. Take care.
Bye bye.